like, that's such an incredible testament to Saginaw. I mean, like, within a 5-minute span, you had 10 people who all knew each other, all within, like, the community advocacy space. I mean, that's Saginaw. Like, what is Saginaw? That's Saginaw. I love it.
Yeah, that was great.
So back to your interview.
But what are the odds?
I mean, it seems like the odds are pretty good considering we had 9 people show up. Christiana Malacara, I'm excited to talk to you because we were kind of joking as we were setting up that you know more people than I do.
Yeah.
Because I just see your face all over the place.
You do tell me that.
Is that true? Do you think that's true?
I think what's true is that you know more people than I do.
Oh, really? So you
sure.
you disagree with me is what you're saying.
I disagree. That's my take.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can take your disagreement. You know so many people because of your very successful podcast on WSGW. That's What She Said.
That's what it's called.
How did the idea for That's What She Said come about? How did that start?
So there's two parallel stories to that.
Okay.
So I have a good friend, and she's a big fan of The Office. And I was telling her this experience that I keep having as a news reporter, in which that I would interview someone, because I am a news reporter first, right? I would interview someone, and it was usually a male, the guy running the show.
Yeah.
And then when the questions, I don't want to say got complicated or hard, but layered, or just a little too much.
Needed some nuance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This he would always refer me to as she.
Oh, interesting.
And I would end up with her business card, her phone number, her email address. And I was like, whoa, wait, hang on. I want to talk to who's the boots on the ground. And this just kept occurring. And so I told my friend, and she's like, well, maybe that's who you need to talk to. So that is kind of like running through my head parallel, right? And then the other thing was I just felt like there was a lot of voices out there that needed to be heard. And so it came about. It just came about. I ended up telling my now producer, Jonathan Dent, that I had this idea, right? It was started out just, what if we did this thing? And, I'll be the first one to tell you, I didn't study broadcasting. I didn't study storytelling, anything along those lines. And so it was me kind of going out on a limb, even saying this to him. And thank God for Jonathan Dent, because he's a wonderful friend, and he was in a room that I wasn't and spoke up. Yeah. He spoke up on my behalf, and now we are a year and a few months later.
Very cool. I think that's such a great example of, like, we can have ideas, but how important it is for people to kind of advocate for those ideas. Like I have this thing, and then they go to a friend of theirs who's like, hey, I just talked to somebody. Can I connect you? Or I support this idea. I think this is... So they're vouching for you. They're advocating for you. And I love that.
Yeah. Connectors are so important.
Yeah.
They're so important. And the thing is, anybody can be a connector. You don't need to have this, cloutful title, right? Yeah. Anybody. We just saw it.
Yep. How many women have you interviewed so far on That's What She Said?
Over 60.
60?
Over 60 women of the Great Lakes Bay region.
Wow.
All ages, all races, all walks of life.
Business owners.
The mission statement of That's What She Said is from student to CEO.
Awesome. So all different kinds of people. It's not just businesses. It's
everybody.
Great women doing great things in the Great Lakes Bay region.
High school graduates and, founders of entire companies.
I love that. I'm interested to talk to you about your experience interviewing all of these people, because you have all these conversations and these interviews, and you're digging into people's stories, and I'm sure that you've had a similar experience. It gets your brain going on, like, how do people work, and how do they interact, and what do they think about, and how do they communicate? It really gets your wheels turning after you hear story after story after story. And I'm interested to talk to you about this, because I said, hey, what do you want to talk about? And you said, I have some theories.
I do.
And you sent me this list of 7. We're not going to talk about all 7.
No.
But I'd love for you to throw out, give me one. What's one theory that you have after talking to all these great women that you've talked to?
Okay, so with 60 women to date, right? 60 women, an hour in interview, but it's more than that, because I'm meeting with them either ahead of time, or they want to reconnect afterwards, or they felt like they didn't share their whole story, but right now they just need to get it out because it's on the tip of their tongue and we didn't have enough time during that hour segment.
Yeah.
So I'm well over near 100 hours just being poured into, right? So I've become this library of stories, and it's amazing how many common threads there are that I've learned over these 60 women in 100 plus hours. One of them I've kind of formulated, and like we said, I said the word theories, right? I've formulated these concepts that are similar into theories. And one of them I call my circle square theory.
Tell me about your circle square theory.
Okay. So I know you got your sunglasses on, but for a moment, just close your eyes.
Okay.
And we're going to picture you're as a child and you have this box, right? And on the box, there's a circle, a square, a triangle, and a half moon crescent. And then on the side, you have these blocks, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you have all these blocks, and they're each fit into a certain spot, all right? So are you there with me?
Yes, I see the blocks.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're bringing this theory now into adulthood, okay? So now I'm an adult. Which shape do I best identify myself with? So now we're bringing something internally and saying, who am I? Am I a circle? Am I a square? Am I a star? Am I a half crescent? Am I one of these things? And then you select one, right? Which is very hard to do. Mm-hmm. So you select one. So let's just say we pick up the circle, all right? So we're picking up the circle as an adult with this toy in front of us. We're picking up the circle and we're like, it doesn't fit here with the squares. Oh no, this is disheartening. I'm upset. I really want to be a star. We're putting our circle over here with the star, and it's not working. As much as we try, and we're forcing this thing, and we're getting upset, we're getting angry, we're all these emotions. We're getting sad, depressed. But then we are over here and we slide over to the circle slot. Whoop, goes right in. That satisfaction of like, I fit here.
Yeah.
So now we're in this box, right? We're in a box with our circle. And inside the box is a bunch of other circles, okay? So here we are with like-minded people. So this is the challenge that I tell women is when you're in a room with like-minded people, are you thriving or are you growing? Are you standing still or are you moving?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing? So, yeah, I think it's great to find that sense of belonging, which is so important as an adult, especially as a woman. Finding that sense of belonging. I'm a circle. I fit in with these circles. I'm right here.
Yeah.
But challenge yourself and saying, what are the squares doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing that's different that keeps them thriving? What is the stars doing? What's keeping them thriving? What about these half moon crescents? I mean, what's up with that? What do they know that I don't know?
Yeah.
So moving into spaces that are unfamiliar is so important. But the first step was identifying who you are.
Yeah.
I'm that circle.
I love that because I think one of the challenges of adulthood that everybody faces is like you are confronted with making a choice. And one of the most significant choices is like, who am I? What do I need to be satisfied, to feel fulfilled, to grow, to thrive? And I think intentionally confronting that, I think is such an important thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that last part of questioning it, right?
Yeah.
So always being in question.
Yeah.
Am I a circle? Do I need to stay a circle? Maybe you don't. Maybe this chapter, and I'm using the word chapter very intentionally, maybe this chapter is a circle chapter. But 3 chapters down the book, maybe I'm a square.
Yeah.
So this is the important part, is identifying when you need to adapt, being malleable enough to adapt, but then also knowing I'm evolving.
Once a circle, not always a circle. You might be a square.
Never know.
Tell me another theory.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I use the word chapter very intentionally now, because we have a start date and we have an end date. And the culturally, as a Latina woman, I've grown up knowing I have a start date and I have an end date. And that start date is just as important as that end date. And both are celebrated culturally for me.
Yep.
So in a chapter, you're here and existing now, but that chapter changes. And then you go move on to the next one, you move on to the next one. Because eventually you will end your book, right? A lot of people use seasons. In this season, I'm going to do this. In that season, I did that. And I do not like that term. And if that's the term that you're most comfortable with, use it. But seasons come back.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to go back to a season that I lived already. I want to start moving forward. And this is something that I've learned from these women over and over and over, is they're constantly trying to push to that step, that next step, that step forward. They're not trying to move back. Sometimes life pushes you back a step, 2 steps, a whole staircase. But if you're constantly thriving to move forward, then why am I living in a season that is going to come back to me? So we're pushing towards that end chapter. What's next? So that way we can have that celebration of life at the end.
Yeah, I love that description of a chapter, because even if the story does end up being cyclical, you're still a different person living a similar experience. So it's still a different chapter. You're still moving forward. I love that. Give me one more theory.
Okay. There's so many. Oh man, I'm trying to think of all the things that I've sent you.
I can tell you one.
Okay, sure. Yeah, shoot me.
The 3 checks before saying yes.
Yes. Oh, that's such a good theory. 3 checks before saying yes. Okay. So, decision making. We already brought it up, right? Decision making. We do it every day. Every minute we're making the decision, hey, I'm going to do this one thing, and it leads to the next one, again, moving forward. But sometimes as people, but as women, because we're incredibly multifaceted as women, I've come up with this theory about 3 checks. So it needs to serve 3 different purposes before saying yes. Because as women, we're people pleasers. We're the doers. We're gonna get it done. And sometimes, and I'm totally guilty of this, filling my plate. And it's so full that I can't even see what's here. So before making a decision, this is the theory of 3 checks. So is this thing, whatever it is, if it's a person, place, thing, if it's applying for a job, quitting a job, going into a relationship, leaving a relationship, purchasing a car, anything, do I serve this 100%? Can I dedicate 100% wraparound of me into this thing? That's check number 1. If we answer it yes, we can move on to check number 2. So check number 2 is, does this thing, it can be person, place, or thing, right? Does this job, does this relationship, does this vehicle serve me 100%? Nothing less than 100%. So let's say yes again. So yes, so I serve this and it serves me. Now with those 2 in collaboration, does this relationship serve the greater good in a positive way? Right? So am I taking on this job? Yes, I decided I am. But does this job serve the greater good in a positive way? Oh, maybe not. Maybe, eventually it's not going to fill my cup. Maybe, well, then that's a no. If any one of those 3 checks is a no, then it's a no.
I love that last one. Like asking the question, like, who else will this help? Because you look at the science and the research, and like right now our culture is very like self-care focused, and like if somebody gives me energy, I'm gonna give him that energy right back, and I need to protect myself and boundaries, and we kind of have this idea that we take care of ourselves by focusing on ourselves. But if you look at the science and you look at the research, you get considerably more self-reward by helping other people. And so I love this check of saying, like, I'm about to make this decision, but who else is this going to help? Because intrinsically, like, that is such a driving force. I mean, we just had 9 people sitting here on the sidewalk all saying, like, I do this work for other people, and it's some of the hardest work that people can do. So I love that last one.
And you said, while we had everyone here, you said this group of people, they dedicate their life to this thing. Yeah. Right? So that's huge, right? They're spending more time in the office doing the thing in the community, making it happen than other things that they could be doing. Yep. Right? But back to your note with my three checks, right? So once you get those 3 checks together and they're yeses, you move forward. But you mentioned boundaries and self-care. The 3 checks is laying down a boundary. It is self-care. So let's say that I'm serving this one thing at 100%, right? Whatever it may be. And then this thing is not serving me at 100%, but I bypassed it. And I was like, well, but it's kind of for the greater good. So my 3rd check is a yes. But that middle check, it's not serving me at 100%. Eventually, that first check of you giving it 100%, it'll dismantle. It won't work. And so there's no way to not move forward successfully without having these three components.
In the tech bro circles, the dude bro circles, the manosphere, you hear a lot about mental models, like frameworks of, like, instead of just reacting to the world however we do, it can be helpful to look at the world and decisions in a framework. And that's what it sounds like here. You're exercising self-care by saying, okay, I'm confronted with this decision, instead of just getting carried away and all the reflexes and my reflex to say yes to this and overbook myself and commit to too much and you want to do too many things and, you know, put myself aside to always serve others. Like, what are my three questions that I always ask? And it helps simplify. And do you think there's ever room, like, to still move forward if only two of the checks are yeses?
You know, I want to say from, you know, honestly, personal experience, and also speaking to 60 women, right? That's a good panel to grab from.
It's a good sample size. Yeah.
No, I'm going to say it boldly. No, you need all three. You need all three because, you know, that there's a balance there that needs to happen. And if you're not excited and satisfied, if you're not, you know, relaying the thing that you want to relay, it's going to drain you.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of a when.
Yeah. And then that's kind of what I was thinking. I think there could be room to say yes to something that checks two of the boxes, but realize, like, you're running on a timeline. Like you might be super okay with that right now, but in a month, in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, like, that tank is going to be empty because you're pouring yourself out to other people without filling yourself back up, or you're so focused on your yes and your why, but then it's like, well, what am I doing to actually change the world and help other people? And that can also lead to burnout. So
yeah. So that last yes, right? That collaboration of question 1 and question 2. If you're serving the greater good, a lot of times, and this is, I don't want to say it's a theory, but it's a term that I use on That's What She Said, is the invisible ripple effect. Okay? So we all know what a ripple effect is, and we all know what a ripple effect is in that you're starting here, right? We're dropping the pebble in the water, and then it starts out small, and then it gets bigger and gets bigger and gets bigger. And so sometimes that goes unseen. And a lot of times that goes unseen for women. If it's at home, if it's, like I started out the conversation, if it's the boss's assistant, that's unseen. Who manages the schedule? Mm-hmm. The boss's assistant. Who manages the groceries? The stay-at-home mother. You know, so a lot of that is unseen goodness that is this invisible ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question for you. What is it about what you do, all of these interviews, all of these people that you meet, all the hearing of the stories, what is it that keeps you doing it? What is it that you love about what you do?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's what she said. I'm in love with her. There's no way that this is ever going to be out of my grasp. You know, this is the first time I mean, other than being a mother, I think this is the first time where I've really stepped into this and it felt good, right?
Very cool.
And so, you know, again, it checks those three items for me. But I think being a lifelong learner, one is something that's embedded in me, but two, I think it's important. I think it's so important. And doing these interviews, I'm providing content to create lifelong learners. So we started out the whole initial interview by saying, why do you do what you do? You know, why are we doing this here? And it's the legacy of it. You know, I want to be able to condition the next woman to be successful in whichever avenue it is. You know, if she wants to go into skilled trades, if she never wants to get married, if she wants to adopt children, if she wants to go through with an uncoupling situation, if she wants to quit her job, I want to be able to provide her content and insight from women that have gone through this experience. So she can thrive.
I love that. Yeah, it sounds like you're essentially building community through this content. You're connecting women. I mean, like yesterday we had that experience. You're like, hey, I'm working on this thing and we're rolling out some things. I was like, oh, I know a person that is doing something similar. We should connect. And threw you guys in a text thread, and like there's more community building right there.
Yep. We're having coffee on next Friday.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, referencing that before we close, you that's what she said. Of course, you got the podcast, but there are also some other things coming down the line. A book, potentially.
There's a book. Speaking to 100 women.
Oh, yes. I love that. So we got a book, Speaking to 100 Women, some workshops.
Yep, we have workshops. Fierce Financing for Women. Because there's a financial literacy gap here, right? It's generational. Yep. And I've spoken to many professionals and specialists in this field that are like, you know, in the next 20 years, women are going to hold the majority of the money when it comes to the country. You know, statistically, this is happening. Google it. And we're going to be able to, like I said, condition. We're going to be able to teach these things so women can thrive financially. So Fierce Financing for Women is one. Affirmation Building is another workshop. And then Building Your Own Brand. If that's building your own brand for the public or building your own brand internally, which is so important. So identifying, you know, am I the circle, the square, the triangle, the half crescent, the star, you know, making these identity decisions. It's going to be big. So the way that I mention this to my guests is the guest on that. So she said is, you're handing me pearls and it's my job to thread them together. Yeah, I love that. So if people are watching this, listening to this, and they're like, oh man, I want to check out this podcast, or I want to connect for when the book comes out, for when the workshops are being hosted, I want all of that information. Where do people go to get connected with you and with what you're doing? All the places on the internet.
Go to the internet.
So go to the internet. So
maybe don't just Google that's what she said, because you might get some.
That's important. That's what she said with Christiana Malacara.
There you go.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. If you want to tune in on YouTube, that's what she said with Christiana Malacara. We are anywhere you get a podcast: Spotify, Apple, Audible, WSGW.com, and then
awesome.
That's it.
Do it, people. Do it. Go to all the places. Sign up. Connect. Love what you're doing. Love you.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing, and I love this conversation. So, Christiana, thank you so much for the Sidewalk Talk.
You're welcome. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Awesome. Cut.